Good afternoon. My name is Stanley Payton. I'm going to talk to you about relative clauses. The reason why we're going to talk about relative clauses today are two reasons. The first reason is because I have noticed that a lot of you have repeated the subject in your journals and other academic work. The other reason is because I've noticed that a lot of you write in simple sentences rather than in more complex academic style writing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and maybe this exercise will assist us in making larger, longer, more coherent sentences. Okay. So here are a couple of our problem sentences that we have had. One of them, notice that we have an uncle of mine. He does the same thing. This is a problem sentence. This is not how to do it. I'm just flagging some examples of some student work that I have seen. My friends there in our home country, or in my home country, notice that again, they're repeating this. And we're going to very shortly learn the correct way to say this sentence. I have a chemistry book, it cost me. Again, we're repeating the subject. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to recognize repeating subjects and correct those. And then also to correct simple sentences to make them more complex sentences. And we're going to use relative pronouns. Now, what are relative pronouns? Relative pronouns are used to make more complex sentences, which we call, the relative pronoun, it will begin either an adjective clause, or sometimes books call them relative clauses. But anyway, they replace a noun phrase or pronoun in the dependent clause. And some of these pronouns are who, whom, which, that, who, and whose. And then we have our adjective clause. We will probably not get to whose. That will be another day. Here are a couple of examples of adjective clauses. The attorney who ran for mayor in our city last year. The pianist whom I told you about, or who I told you about in colloquial speech. The Hawaiian Islands, which are located in the Pacific Ocean. A product that is causing a major problem in the auto industry. So here are some examples of these relative or adjective clauses. Now, here's a chart that concisely has what we are discussing. Here are the relative pronouns, who, whom, whose, that, and which. Notice that who, whom, and whose are for a person or people. That could be probably used for people or things, but probably most commonly it's for things. Which is only used for things. Now, let's talk about how we put these and make them into a sentence. Okay, and this is going to be on relative pronouns as subjects. We probably won't get any further than that this period. Here's an example. Mr. Lawson passed the bar examination. Mr. Lawson teaches political science. By itself, these are choppy sentences. There's nothing wrong with them grammatically. It's just considered to be bad form. But anyway, notice that Mr. Lawson is the phrase or the word that links these two sentences together, so we can combine them into one sentence. So this is how it is done. Mr. Lawson, and then we use the relative pronoun who because it's a subject, teaches political science, passed the bar examination. And so that's how we can combine them into one sentence, and this is a stronger sentence academically. Now, let's go into an exercise. John Fish explained the tapeworm's complex structure. He is a research biologist. The first, if we're having some trouble, we need to ask ourselves which word, and this may be a little bit hidden, links these two sentences together. Do you see tapeworm here? Complex structure? No. What does he refer back to? Okay, John Fish. So are you ready to take a try at it? So John Fish, okay, who is a research biologist, explained the tapeworm's complex structure. Very good, and now we've combined it into one sentence. Now let's move on to the second sentence. While he lectured, he showed us a slide. The slide diagrammed the various parts of the tapeworm structure. What word or phrase combines these two sentences together? Okay, slide, very good. So this was a little bit easier because you saw it. Okay, so then while he lectured, he showed us a slide which, or that, diagrammed the various parts of the tapeworm structure. Very good, it looks like we're catching on. Let's move on. Look at number 3. Words in English are often difficult for foreigners to pronounce. They began with the consonants TH. This one's a little bit harder, but I know we can do it. Okay, what is the phrase, or what is the word that links these two sentences together? Good, words in English. Good. You sometimes students get confused on that. Good. So how do we put these together? Okay, we're having some trouble. Okay, keep in mind that one way in which you can do the exercise is substitute a word from the first sentence into the second. So, for example, foreigners began with the consonants TH. Well, we're not implying that they're speaking. I mean, it's foreigners don't begin with TH. Words begin with the consonants TH. Okay, so that's one way in which you can help you to be able to successfully link the sentences together. So when we combine them, words in English that or which begin with the consonants TH are often difficult for foreigners to pronounce, or begin. So yeah, this today we're not doing past tense or anything like that. We're just doing the relative clauses, but that's a good point about the tense here. Let's go to number 4. Foreigners also have difficulty with English spelling. English spelling is not always logical. This one looks like it's a little bit easier. Foreigners also have difficulty with English spelling. Not it, but that is not always logical, or which is not always logical, because English spelling sometimes isn't. Okay? Let's take a look at this one. The drugs have the same effects on human beings. They are used on experimental animals. Okay? Again, what does they refer back to? Human beings, the drugs, effects. Okay. Again, we need to ask ourselves, are human beings used on experimental animals? Are effects used on experimental animals? Or are drugs used on experimental animals? Probably drug sounds the best, doesn't it? So then when we combine these, the drugs which are used on experimental animals have the same effects on human beings. Okay. So this is how you can use relative pronouns as subjects. Now, Next, what we're going to do is we're going to learn relative pronouns as objects. So what do I mean by that? The students whom I recommended got awards. I recommended them, or I recommended the students. Students is the object, I is a subject. So the students whom I recommended. The journals which I assigned yesterday are due on Friday. Again, I assigned the journals which I assigned, that which is used as an object. And we're going to learn more about that next time. I hope you found this helpful and interesting, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.